What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the Keeping It Positive podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Cameron. And on today's episode, we'll be talking about feelings, thoughts, and plans surrounding post-grad life. College is definitely not for the weak, and adulting has its own obstacles. So before we dive into today's topic, let's start with our unpopular opinion of the day.
Woo!
So, my unpopular opinion of the day is I think that Spotify is better than Apple Music.
Oh, wow.
I'm a Spotify girly, you guys. If you didn't know, I'm a Spotify stan, and I just love Spotify. It's my heart. I don't have Apple Music at all.
So, do you have to pay for Spotify?
You can if you want to, if you want Spotify.
Oh, but if you don't, you have to listen to the ads. See, I don't know. I'm an Apple Music girly because something about, like, I don't like the ads, number one. Number two, it's like Spotify, same thing as the radio. If I would listen to Spotify, I'll just listen to the radio.
No, it's not the same because you can curate your podcast. You can curate your playlist on Spotify. Like Apple Music, I feel like people who have Apple Music, they don't have playlists. They just put all their music on shuffle, and if you do that, I just don't know. I don't do that.
No, because Apple Music, they have a thing where if you just go to the search engine and you type in one song, it'll just curate songs like that one song that you typed in.
Okay.
So, that's what I do.
But I love Spotify. I just like the aesthetic of it, the way that it looks.
I guess it does. It gives you a cute little playlist, little picture.
And then you get Spotify
there.
Wraps. Does Apple Music have Spotify has Wrapped?
It does. At the end of the year, yeah, it gives you your most listened to songs. I prefer Apple Music, but you know what? It's okay. It's
Spotify
okay.
stand.
It's okay. Whichever one you use, as long as you listen to our podcast.
Definitely do that. So, to give you guys a little bit of background about me and Ashley both went to UNC Greensboro for college.
Shout out Spartans.
Shout out to any UNCG alum again. Represent. But I majored in information science, and I had a minor in studio art when I was in school. And
I majored in business administration, and I had a minor in drama theater.
Mm-hmm. So we both enjoyed school, enjoyed our time at school. We can talk about just a little bit about how our time at school was, and what we did, things that we were into. So I can give you a little bit of background about me. We both in Sisters with a Vision, which is like a multicultural women empowerment group that focused on women of color and benefiting them in different ways, giving them opportunities and doing community service, things like that. I was in Residence Hall Association, which is kind of like RA, but we focus on all the communities in college, all the different residence halls. So I enjoyed that, and then I also did something else. I'm forgetting something else.
You were just in so much.
I was in so much, But that's just a little bit of background on me. About you?
And I was involved in a lot too. So I was a resident advisor. I was a Spartan guide. I was a peer coach. I was in Sisters with a Vision as well. I was on the PR team for SGA. I am a member of the Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And what else did I do? I think that's about it.
There's a lot of things.
That's about it. Only those few little things.
That's a lot of
Not
things.
too much. But I really enjoyed my time on UNCG's campus, and it's so unreal that we're not there anymore. Like, I wake up every day and I'm like, dang, I don't have a schedule. I don't have classes to go to. I don't have anything to do.
It definitely was a time. And I think the thing that I loved the most about being in college was the fact that it was so close. I was so close to everyone. I was a walkable community. I was able to walk down the street and get some food, and then walk down a couple more streets and go to the gym, and then I can literally walk down the hall and see Ashley because she was my RA. So that was just like, I love that about college. I love the community that you make with the people that you start to see every day, and you cross paths even though you don't necessarily have to talk. It's like you see the same people all the day. I see them in the elevator. I love that.
It's something about that community, and you get to know people so much better when you live in a community like that. So I really feel like that's something that in the future we should have more like smaller living communities to live in, because having walkable things in your area is so important. Having people that you actually talk to in your community is so important. It helps build network, and just meet new people that you would never have thought to talk about if you didn't live next to them. That's one thing I definitely miss about college, and I will continue to miss about that. It's just the close-knit community that you build.
Yeah, and it's just so much, I feel like there's so many more opportunities to meet new people. I feel like it's not as many new opportunities. You have to put yourself out there more when you live at home, or if you live in an apartment or live by yourself. You have to actually do more to actually put yourself out there and meet new people and have new experiences, which is, we'll get into that later in the episode. But yes, we can talk a little bit about why we chose UNCG, and do we feel like going there impacted our selves and impacted who we are and our skills and all those things. So you can go first.
Why did I choose UNCG? Honestly, when I went there for my campus tour, I just fell in love with the campus and the diversity. So when I first walked on the campus, I saw all the greenery, and I'm an outdoorsy girl. I love being outdoors, and when I went there, now they probably had this stage a little bit too, because they know the right times to have people go for tours. But there were people just sitting all over the lawn of doing work, playing games, throwing the throwing the football back and forth. Frisbee, exactly. And it was everyone like having a good time with everyone. So you saw a multifaceted of different people from different walks of life just out there enjoying their time. And I really fell in love with that, just the diversity in the community.
I really love UNCG because of the diversity. That's mainly why I feel like a lot of people decide to go there, because it makes you feel like I'm at home and that you can fit in somewhere, no matter what you look like, what background you come from, anything like that. Anything that might make you different, we appreciate the differences and we accept them. So that's why I chose UNCG. And also the campus is really pretty, you know. And they have a really nice gym. If you guys have never been to UNCG.
Oh, their gym. It's giving. And they have a sauna in there, y'all. We went to the sauna all the time. I love that place.
Yes.
There's a pool. The water massage chairs. They have pool. Right. They had a whole, what was that? Was that for boxing or karate? Karate.
Oh yeah.
The little matted room that they had.
They had those rooms in the back that were like, people use them to play like racquetball or pickleball or tennis.
Yes, they did have those right there.
Those.
I never did that.
I've never seen them. I've seen people use them, but I never tried it before.
That was so, like, they had a whole bunch of stuff that you could just do. And another thing, if you're going to school, get involved. Like, don't go to a university if you have the opportunity to go to one and just sit in your room all day or not go out and meet people, because there's so many different opportunities to meet people. Like, go walk, just walk around the campus, join a club, go to the free things because you pay for it. So you could either think about it as being free, or you could think about it as, I paid for it, so let me take advantage of all the opportunities that I have because I paid for it. It's so important. Go to the library, check out a book, see what free electronics they have to use. Our school, if you went down to the basement of the library, you could rent a camera, you could rent a tripod, you could rent games. They had a whole gaming room. Like, there were so many opportunities and things you could get. I didn't take advantage of it until my senior year. I wish I would have known about it earlier and gotten out earlier.
I think my first 2 years, I took advantage of like the resources that they gave us, like the academic advisors and other academic. We have something at UNCG, I think it's called the Academic Success Center. And I went there when I was having trouble with some of my classes and I needed a tutor, or I just needed a mentor or somebody to talk to about what I'm going through or what I'm having trouble with. So I would go there, and they helped me a lot, taking advantage of they have, if you're going through mental health issues, they have things for that and groups you can go to.
Free counselors,
there's so many really good resources that our school offered that I feel like made me feel more seen and heard, and I appreciate that a lot. So that's why we went to UNCG.
All right now. So now that you graduated, what are some things that you do to keep yourself busy, or what's your day-to-day life like now?
My day-to-day life is typically I wake up and I try to get a prayer in first of all, and then I always try to go to the gym and make that a priority for myself, because I want to keep my health up and I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, my physical body, but also my mental. I feel like I'm prioritizing what I like to do and putting myself out there in new spaces, if that makes sense. So I will take my time to look up and see if there's a new networking event in the area, or I will go to an art gallery because I really enjoy art. So putting myself in different spaces to meet different people and see different things. But yeah, I like to paint. I like to go to art galleries. I like to work out. That's pretty much it.
All right. Me, honestly, I wake up. I will try to read. I've been trying to get into like reading a little bit more now, just to keep my brain stimulated and to try to learn at least one new thing a day. What else do I do? I'm currently studying for some exams so I can hopefully get a job. I'm trying to just figure out, I'm trying to do some soul searching and figure out what I actually want to do too. Because I feel like a lot of people graduate school and know what they want to do, but then people graduate school and have no idea. And I'm one of those people who had no idea. And I'm still trying to figure it out. And it's not that, sometimes I feel like I'm behind. But I have to keep reminding myself that I'm where I need to be at this very moment. So I got to keep just pushing and just keep figuring it out day by day. And it's gonna all fall into place eventually. So
when it's supposed to.
Exactly. But that's the hardest thing about being out of school, is just knowing that I have nothing to do right now. And luckily I'm living with my parents still, so I have somewhere to go, but not everyone is as blessed to have somewhere to go or somewhere safe to stay. So I definitely don't take that for granted, but I'm still trying to not get lazy, because it's easy to get lazy. Like I have had to check myself a couple times because I'll sleep into like 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and I'm like, okay now. Like, I might have the luxury of being at home right now, but in the future, I won't have this luxury of just being able to sit down and do nothing. So I need to still try to have a schedule and still try to figure out what I actually want to do.
Or at least try things. Like,
exactly.
Just find the time, even if you don't know what you want to do, just try different things. I know, it's just so, I have moments where I don't know if there's a phenomenon or if there's a name for it, but it's almost like you want to do everything, but you trying to do everything is causing you to do nothing.
Oh my gosh.
And that, I don't know if there's a name for that, but I don't know about everybody else, but that is like, if it was a word for that, I'm pretty sure it is, but that is what takes up majority of my time. Like I would investigate, like, it's been so many times where I'm like, I look something, or like I look something up, or I see a video on TikTok, I'm like, I would be interested in doing this. Like, that would be really cool for me to have a career in this. And I look up stuff. How do you do this? What do you need certificates to do this? And do you need this and this to have this job? And maybe I should try this. And you guys, I would go deep diving into this rabbit hole
for hours.
And then I'll switch, like the next 2 days I'll go deep diving into another rabbit hole of another career. And it's like, I wake up like, I want to be a lawyer, and I wake up the next day, I'm like, I want to be a construction worker. I can do architecture. I'm good at drawing. I can draw some blueprints, And it's just so many opportunities out here to do whatever you want to do. The world is at my disposal.
But it's literally right at your fingertips, for real.
But as it's at my disposal,
that's a good thing, but it's
also a little overwhelming to think that there's so many things that I'm interested in that I can only pick one. I also saw this thing on TikTok where it was describing how you want to live so many different lives, but you only have one life to live. It's so relatable, you guys.
And it gets so stressful too, because it's like you want to do everything, but you don't. Like, I can do everything, but in order to be good at something, in order to master something, it takes hours on hours to put your focus into it. And when you do something, you don't want to halfway do it. So I don't want to ever get into something and do it halfway. I wanted to put my full force into it. But in order to do that, you got to cut off all the other things you want to do. But then it's like, what if that one thing that I'm like want to focus on right now is not what's for me? Then I waste all this time on that.
And one thing you could have been doing.
But then it's like, you got to remind yourself that it's about the process too. So it's like, it's just too much to think about at one time.
It's a lot. I saw a video. It was like, one lady, she was like, she wants to be a baker, and she also wants to have her own museum. She also wants to have her live on the beach and surf, but she also wants to have where she lives luxury in a hotel.
And it's all possible, but like,
what?
It's in stages though. You have to do it in stages. You can't do everything at one time. But it's in our heads. We have a picture in our heads of everything being done at one time. So then it's hard to think about, oh, I got to go through the work now to do it.
So at one point I'm like, sometimes half of me is like, I want to go travel. I want to live the luxury. I want to work in corporate. I want to have like blazers and stuff. And then the other part of me is like, I want to just live a soft life. I want to have a garden. I want to have, I want to have kids. I want to be able to teach them about how things grow, and I want to, I want to have a little soft life where my husband takes care of me. But I also work and I have my own business side hustle where I make my own money. Hello, you keep your own money. But I also want to live like slow life where I'm not in this rat race where I'm having to compete with everyone else and what they're doing, and just live something where I'm happy and sustainable and I'm content with where I'm at. So it's a lot of things to think about when you're deciding about like what direction you want to go in, what lifestyle you want to have, what that looks like for you.
And I feel like school is a good way to figure out, narrow down what you want to do, but then it's not for everybody. Because some people go in there, have no idea what they want to do, and leave, have no idea what they want to do, but we just have this certificate saying she graduated. But then it's like, but what am I supposed to do now? I graduated, but now what? Because if you're doctors, lawyers, people who go into school for that, they tend to do that. But then people go into school, change their major 50 times. Or then after, and it's also important to get internships while you're in school too. That's one thing I did not do at all. I did not have an internship at all 4 years, and I feel like that was one of my mistakes. Because then at least you could have a inkling. If you do 4 different ones, do one your freshman year, do one your sophomore year, do one your junior year, and do one your senior year, the summer before you actually start working. Like,
you can try things out.
That's 4 different things that you can try out, that you have an idea of what you want to do now. At least if you hated all 4, you can narrow all 4. Say, I'm never going to be this, or this. But then it's like, if you don't do it.
I wish there was more opportunities for people our age to just... I wish there was some sort of program or some sort of, I'm not sure, business where they focus on putting people in positions to like shadow and to try those things. Because I also feel like, for me personally, I feel like trying to get an internship is almost the same as trying to get a job. And I feel like now the way that things have changed, since our society is in a digital age where everything is online and it's harder to compete with people, it's tougher to actually get opportunities to, maybe if you're thinking about being a dentist and shadowing somebody who is a dentist or orthodontist, or maybe just talking to them, not even having to shadow them, but just being able to have those connections where I want to be a doctor, and we talk to this person who is in this field and understand how was their experience going through the process of trying to become what you are.
But then a lot of people aren't going to want to shadow. Like, people don't want to shadow anymore now. They want to get paid for it. And some places just can't afford to pay people to shadow if you're not doing any work. That's true. But then again, it's like if it's something you actually want to do, you have to shadow. But then you might have bills to pay at your house, or you might have to help your family out. So that's when it gets tricky. So it's like, how do you fix that? But that's a whole nother can of worms to open.
That's a whole other thing. But that's really interesting how, like, I think everybody feels the same a lot of times, and then really it's actually crazy.
It's the same, but we all feel the same, but in different ways. But the root problem is still, I don't know.
And I also feel like as part of it might be the necessary feeling. I know some people that want to be in a certain field, but that certain field may not pay them afford the lifestyle that they want. So now the career and the lifestyle that you have don't really match up. So, a lot of people want to be, be in the teaching system, or they want to go into the arts, where there's music, visual art and design, things like that. Stuff like that is just a little harder to make money from.
That's true.
We just live in a society where it's more focused on more of the STEM fields and business and doctors, lawyers, that sort of thing. Which is that those are definitely necessary. Those are definitely needed in today's society. But also, I think that we put a lack of interest in people who are in the creative arts, or maybe like creative directors and people who work in galleries and people who, make their own music, musicians, and like those are actually very good, careers to have. Like, you can make something out of them, but I think it's just harder to do that for yourself.
Unless you have to make a name for yourself first. People have to actually want to listen to you. But those things bring people so much joy. Like, listening to music just can relieve your stress for the day.
It's so powerful, but I think we put more of a focus on STEM and those more concrete subjects, but I feel like if you really wanted to make it happen for yourself, just work hard at it. And I feel like at the end of the day, if you worked hard at it and really tried your best, and you can't say you didn't try. And also, don't lose your love for it either, because just because you're not making money from it doesn't mean that it doesn't bring you joy and bring other people joy too. Some people like to see what you put out, and don't think that it's not helping people and helping yourself. So, don't let that be a inhibiting factor to why you don't put out your art, put out music, put out whatever you make, podcasts. Don't let that be something that stops you. Just try it and do it for the love of it, and because you want to help people, not because you are trying to make a bag out of it.
That's true. It's about why you went into something. It goes back to that why. You have to know your why. If your why's not good, a lot of the times it's not going to work out. Because when things get hard, you're going to want to quit.
That's very true.
But when things get hard and you know your why and it's something you really want to do, you're going to push forward, and you're never going to give up. Never.
I know for me, one of my lifelong goals is to own my own gallery and to own my own art space, creative space. And that's something that's just a dream that I've always had. Even if I don't, it doesn't work out exactly how I wanted to, I know I'm never going to try, or never going to stop trying to make it happen, because it's something that I really, really want. And it's something that I feel like will benefit not just me, but my community and the people around me. So don't give up on your dreams. Chase your dreams.
Never ever.
Whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like for you, don't stop until you make it happen. Your dreams can't turn into reality, like I said before. If you don't give up and, define your own dream and what that means to you, and you'll be good, you'll be set. But I also want to touch on something about post-grad. Do we feel like college really prepares you for the real world, and do you feel like maybe our school specifically, I don't know, but do you feel like college sets you up to be in a place to succeed in the real world?
Ooh.
That's something I never really thought about as a post-grad. But until I wrote the question down, but I really thought about it, I said, wow.
That's honestly, I would say yes and no. Because the stuff we learn in our classes, it really has no correlation to what you're going to do in the workforce. Because every job is so different, they can't teach you everything you need to know. No matter if you're a business major or a chemistry major. Like when you go to your actual job at the hospital or as a pharmacist or whatever else you're doing, you're going to use the foundations of what you learned in school, but you're not going to use all of it. They're going to teach you the stuff you need to know for the job. So in that way, I would say no, but there's no way they can do that because every job is so different. But in the social aspect, I feel like it teaches you how to interact with people if you put yourself out there. Because when you go to classes, you have to do presentations. So you might have to do a presentation in front of a boardroom one day for your company. And if you get better at that because your teacher was harder on you, then it's that's a plus.
That's true.
It teaches you how to handle conflict because now you're away from your family and you might not have the support system, or it just might be a challenging transition for you in school. But because you overcame that, you can overcome someone at your workplace trying to take your idea or having a different idea than you, and you can know how you work and how to go around that. So I would say yes and no.
I would say yes and no too. That's exactly where I was headed. I was thinking that college sets you up to have certain skills that you can bring out into the real world and that you can use in your job, whether it's your job, career, life. But I also feel like there are certain things that it didn't really hit on the same way. Like, I don't think they really do a good job of... I feel like they do a good job of setting you up for networking opportunities and, having career fairs and having things where you can network with people and not just job employees, but also your peers and things like that. I feel like they could do a better job at putting people in spaces to get these jobs and setting. I didn't know what LinkedIn was until my junior year. I did not know what LinkedIn was. I I thought it was just, I didn't know what it was, you know. And had I known earlier, maybe that would have, you know, that would have changed some things, you know. Maybe I don't know. So that is one thing. I feel like they could do a little bit better job, even though I think that you will learn it on your own. Teaching, you know, having more money management classes, financial.
That's definitely important.
Teaching people about economics and finance and stuff like that. Even though there are classes on it. What if I'm not in that major and I want to know more about how to handle my own money, what that looks like, investing, things like that. Like, you know, the value of $1. You know, I want to learn about that type of stuff, but I don't necessarily want to have to be in that major just to learn things like that.
Instead of those like math 101 classes, have a finance class. Instead of the, you know, reading classes where we had to write a 20-page essay on a random topic, let's learn how to do our taxes. Like, let's do something that'll actually benefit us.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's important to read, but if you get to college, you should know how to read and how to write and how to do basic math. You would think. Yeah. So you can still have those classes, but incorporate some other outside worldly things to those classes.
Oh yeah, for sure. At least have that option for students to be able to take those classes. Yeah. I feel like a really good class that colleges or just in general people should implement. Not necessarily a college has to host it, but maybe they can have a program where they have a partner with this organization and let's have this class. But I think self-defense is something that mainly I feel like as we could speak on, because we're women, we need self-defense classes. We need classes where we're taught to protect ourselves and in certain situations and, you know, maintain our autonomy and things like that. I think that's so important. Just talking about it and just, you know, teaching people different moves, maybe teaching people how to handle different situations. If somebody comes up, you know, behind you, somebody tries to touch you in a certain way, like just things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying men too, because these things happen to men too.
Everyone, just in general.
Just having that as an option as a class to take, or just maybe making it a mandatory class that everyone takes, and, you know, just to protect people. And I think that would go a long way with handling situations, because there are situations that happen in college where you need experience and to be versed in that type of thing. And I think that's something that I would have wanted when I was in college.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like that. That's a good one right there.
I thought about that a lot. We were supposed to take one. It was one.
Because they started a self-defense club at our school. But it was like our senior year, second semester, so we were about to get out of there. And the meeting times, it was a lot. Yeah.
Hey, so maybe you're out of college, maybe you can try to start a self-defense club. Maybe partner with an organization that focuses on that sort of thing. So that's a little tip.
Another thing I feel like school does is it makes you a little bit lazy too. It does. It does. Because when you get into the real world, you have to actually wake up and go to your job every single day. But in school, it's like, okay, I might have class on Monday and Wednesday. Especially after COVID, because they start having the online classes. And so now it's like I'm paying to be in school and in these online classes, but I get to stay in my bed all day and do my class at the same time. So that had me struggling a little bit when I graduated.
Oh, yeah. Because
I was so used to, like, having class. I had, my senior year, I had 4 classes. Out of the 4 classes, I went in person twice a week. Like, that is insane. Twice a week. Actually, I had 5 classes and I went in person twice a week. 3 of my classes were online. And, you know, online classes, I don't want to say they're easy, because you still have to do work. But if I can lay in my bed and watch the lecture and do the work, that's not a good combination.
It sets you up for...
Yeah, because, I mean, of course, it's probably a me problem, too, because I have to work on my own self-control and discipline. But at the same time, if I was still getting my work done in the bed, it's like, hey.
That's why now I know, like, you learn more about yourself, though, too. So I know, like, for me, I can't do the asynchronous. If it's going to be an online class, it can be online. But asynchronous?
Yeah.
I'm not even meeting up in the Zoom. We're not even meeting up in the Zoom.
Those do not work at all.
No. That's going to set me up to just, I might do a couple assignments and then wait 2 weeks. And now I done missed a whole bunch of stuff. Information, don't know nothing about what the class is going on. Guys, no. I know about me, I cannot do asynchronous. A synchronous class, online class, I can do that. But it's still not going to be as effective or as on my mind. Because I feel like when things as an important in-person class, because when it's online, you have to mentally every day check in with the class. You know, instead of having to actually go to the class and you're sitting in a room full of people, around people. And also, I don't like when it comes to online classes, I don't like the not being able to talk to my classmates, because I know for me, I need that collaboration. If I don't have that collaboration, I'm able to communicate with my peers and talk about different topics and things we might be discussing in class. I'm struggling, because when I don't know something, I don't necessarily like going to the teacher all the time, because I always like try to go to my friends or my classmates first, because they might have the answers. And typically they do. Not answers, but they might have helpful suggestions and tips that can help me with the tests, with the study guides, with homework, all that type of thing. So, yeah, I don't like that fact that I have to email my classmates and ask them for help. I don't really like that. I'd rather just be able to text them or be able to talk to them in person and, you know, have study groups, stuff like that. You still do that, but it's just a little harder. It makes things harder. So, that's me personally, but know yourself. You get to know yourself when you're doing online classes, so that's definitely a big thing. So I also want to have a important question.
Oh Lord.
So, touching on like the other aspect or another aspect of post-grad life, is feeling like you're losing a love of learning. And I wanted to touch on that because I've seen a lot about that online. And I feel like that really resonated with me in a sense, not a lot, but in a sense, living at home again and saving and trying to get money together, that too is a big part of post-grad. You know, every day I'm like, I'm trying to get to the money. How can I make some more money? What can I start to do? Anything, you guys. Like, we started this podcast and we weren't trying to, you know, necessarily just make a bag, but it's also like, we need some income, you know? We're trying to move out one day and just have our own, you know, even if we're living at home, still have my own. I feel like I'm, you know, making enough money to sustain the life that I want to have, or maybe travel or do different things that I want to do in my 20s, which is something like, you know, you want to travel, you want to experience things, you want to go to concerts, you want to have fun, and you need money to do those things realistically. So what does all that entail when it comes to post-grad? So we can talk about the loss of learning. So how do you feel that, how do you implement learning still in your life? Because, you know, nobody's telling you to go to a class. Yeah. Nobody's telling you to learn this thing. How do you intentionally now focus yourself or refocus yourself on focusing more on learning and how that plays a part in your life?
So honestly, for me, you have to make yourself do it, number one now, because you don't have an assignment to do. You don't have a research project to do for a grade. You're doing it for yourself. So I have to keep reminding myself that this is for future me. And in order for future me to be successful, I have to know information. And so I might just be reading a random book or listening to somebody else's podcast, or just trying to learn a new skill. But every single day, I try to make it my goal to learn at least one new thing. Just because if you don't, then my brain is not going to continue growing.
You start losing
brain cells. No, we're trying to continue to grow ourselves. It could be something as simple as how to knit. Like, it doesn't have to be anything very...
It doesn't have to be academic.
Major, yeah.
Like, or academic, very, like...
That's the word I was looking for.
It doesn't have to be very academic. It's just about, like...
learning
the active learning.
Exactly.
Because think about it, when you were younger, learning was just innately in you, because you didn't know a lot, so you had natural curiosity,
asking questions, just touching
like,
things.
Why does this work the way it works, or how does this work, or why is the sky blue? You start asking questions to yourself and just wanting to know more about things and how they operate, and maybe just know more about things like that. So one thing that I do, or I recently have been wanting to do more, I've been doing a little bit more last year, but I started trying to keep in touch with the current events, because I'm learning more through the current events and, you know, researching current events, but not just what's happening now, but how is history, like, how does that play a part in what's happening now? So I do a lot of that. I think that helps a lot with just my curiosity, because I'll read an article about, you know, I'll see an article about some new AI technology. This is ChatGPT 4.0, you know? And I'll be like, oh my gosh, how does this work? How does ChatGPT work? And I'll start reading about it and wanting to know more about AI and just different things. So just being naturally curious, but don't let whatever you see, just don't let it stop there. I always say just try to do a little bit more research. Don't let the learning just stop at whatever you see online. I see a post and be like, it might say, animal going extinct, and I'm like, why is it? I might want to know more. I don't just stop at the post saying, oh, polar bears are going extinct.
Because a lot of times it's fake too.
Yeah,
so you have to watch out for that too.
Watch out for
online
fake
stuff.
news.
So you make sure you do your own research on.
You have to do your own research. You know, it might say, oh, this animal's going extinct. I look at it, but don't just let it stop there. Don't just scroll past it and be like, maybe like think about this and this polar bears are going extinct. Let me go look that up. Let me go look it up on Google. Look it up on different search engines. Read about it. Are these really going extinct? What's happening? What's happening over there in this part of the world? Why is this happening? Global warming? Whatever it may be, you guys, just try to do a little more research and don't just look at the surface level of things when you see it on social media. Because a lot of that is fake news. A lot of that is just things that have been perpetuated throughout Twitter and different social medias that, you know, kind of alter our view on certain things, certain ideas, and things that are going on in the world. So please maintain your own integrity and do your own research. So I think that's how you address the loss of learning, just being more naturally curious. How, you know, living at home, that's
that's something.
Gosh.
I love it because I'm very, 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 very grateful for the opportunity to even be able to live at home to save money. But at the same time, it is sometimes like, dang, now I'm back at home. I'm comparing myself to others because I see my friends might have their own place, living with their significant others, or even living with themselves, purchasing their properties, and it's like, well, I'm still at home. But everybody, that's the thing. You gotta remind yourself we're on our own track. We're on our own timeline.
Comparison is a thief of joy, you guys. Because you also don't know what people are going through behind what you know.
Exactly.
You know, you might think they moved out on their own, they got their own, but they dealing with money issues. They can't pay their rent. They're barely paying the rent. You know, you just don't know people's situation.
And even people who live at home struggling too. Like, no, you can't compare at all. Zero, none. And that's so hard to do. It's so much easier said than done.
Comparison is a thief of joy.
So much easier said than done.
Make sure that you are not comparing yourself and knowing that you're on your own journey, and when that is meant for you, that will be for you. And take your time, because also living at home, you know, it has its pros and cons, definitely. You know, I love my parents, love my family to death. I'm so grateful, and I'm so blessed to have the family that I do, where I can, you know, am able to live at home, and it's a healthy space for me mentally, physically, emotionally, to talk about things, and very open, very, you know, very loving, open family, which I'm very appreciative of, that I can be surrounded by people that love me. But also, I think that, you know, I always have in my back of my head, I want to, in order for me to grow, I know that I have to be uncomfortable. And sometimes just, you know, staying at home gets you real comfortable. You know, staying in your childhood room,
you get a little lazy,
real comfortable. So just knowing that, you know, in the future, and, you know, keeping that in your head, you want to keep putting yourself in more uncomfortable positions, because that's gonna help you grow.
Yeah, safety nets are amazing. Safety nets are a wonderful thing to have, but at the same time, they hinder a lot of people.
For sure.
you can. I know I can. If anything, if I venture out, I can always come back here. But at the same time, knowing I can always come back here might hinder me from doing something else, because it's like, oh, I might fail. But what's the point of even trying if I can just stay here? But no, you still need to try. Like, you have to still try.
Think about people who move to other countries and stuff. They start their lives over. Not start their lives over, but they experience a whole new, you know, way of living, or maybe, or cultures, or just mindsets that they might have not been exposed to. They wouldn't have been exposed to if they wouldn't have done that. You know, I think that's so important. I think that's so important. I think that's so, I don't know, inspiring, I guess, to be able to do that. Something that I've been interested in doing. Like,
and I feel like if people who do have those safety nets, you still need to take chances, because someone who doesn't, they're willing to put it all on the line. And those people who are always the more successful because of the fact that they have so much to lose.
Yeah.
So we need to start having the mindset of, yes, I might have all this to like fall back on, but I need to have a mindset of, what if this just goes away tomorrow? Because tomorrow's not promised, you know what I mean? Like, you just have to go for what you want to do 120%, no matter who you have supporting you, no matter what's going on back there. Forget about all that. Just do it because you want to do it. Keep on pushing forward.
Don't let,
because you're going to stay in the same spot if you don't.
Don't let people hold you back. You don't let people limit you. Because people will try to limit you and try to keep you from, you know, making that big jump. But maybe that big jump was what you needed to, you know, try something new, or just be in a different space in life and learn new things and grow more than you have in the past, you know? I think that's really crazy.
That's insane.
It's really, yeah. That's really,
speaking on journeys, I guess the last question could be, what is your definition of success in like 20 years down the line from now? What do you feel like success will be for you?
My definition of success and what I feel like it would look like for me.
Yeah, you can that can be all one question.
I define success as my level of happiness and contentment of where I am in life, and if I'm satisfied with, you know, where I'm at. So I think that's what makes success. I don't think success is necessarily financial or looked at as, you know, just the amount of money I'm making. If I'm happy and I'm content and I'm making $50,000 a year, I'm successful. If I'm, you know, healthy and I don't have any problems, I'm able to move, I'm able to do cartwheels and have fun and move around how I want to, I'm successful. You know, I'm wealthy. I'm able to have, you know, strong relationships with my friends and my family and be able to count on them no matter what. I'm successful. So that's why I feel like I view success, not just in the financial aspect, because I can not be making that much money but still be way happier than someone who's making 2 times, 3 times what I got. So that's how I define success. But I think in 20 years I will be 40-something, 42. I think that at 42 I will be owning and operating my own gallery. I think that I will be happy and healthy. I will have loving people in it and around me. I will be helping people in the way that I want to help people, and, you know, doing things that I really imagine myself doing as a young girl, and making my younger self happy, because I think that at the end of the day would satisfy me enough to know that my younger self, 10-year-old Cameron, 6-year-old Cameron, who would just draw random things on sticky notes and put them on people, like, made it to a point where I'm so happy that I'm using my art, using things that make me happy to make others happy and to inspire others to do the same for themselves.
All right now. I feel like my definition of success is pretty similar to yours. Just being happy and treating others well. Like, if you treat somebody else with respect and well, you're a successful person in my eyes, because there's no reason to treat others negatively at the end of the day, because everybody has their own struggles that they're going through. So that's my definition of success. Being happy and treating others well, then you're a successful person.
Being a good person.
Being
a kind person, because we need more kind people in the world.
Exactly. And in 20 years from now, I see myself as a successful, happy, kind person. I don't know what I see myself doing, honestly and truly, but it's gonna be something great. Gonna be something great.
I love it. I see us doing, I see the podcast doing panels. We're going on tours. We're speaking to, post-grads.
Writing books.
Doing photo shoots, all that kind of stuff, all that jazz. But that's just my little tip.
All right, so now it's time for our quote of the day. Woo! All right, so today's quote of the day is, maybe you're having to wait longer because the future that's coming for you is even more profound and beautiful than you imagine. Please don't give up hope. And I could not find who this quote was by, but I just picked this quote because I felt as though it's just something important to remember. You might not know what you're going to be doing in 20 years today, but guess what? You're not supposed to. Because at the end of the day, everybody's in that same not knowing phase. So we just got to keep remembering to push through, to keep trying, and just don't give up hope, because your future is bright, and whatever you're supposed to do and whatever your outcome will be, it's going to be. So yeah.
I really like that because I feel like it brings me some type of security just to know, like, you know, I love what I'm doing, and I'm just keep on trying, and something's gonna work out. Something's gonna stick at the end of the day. So knowing that, I actually read a book. I'm gonna give you a little tip. I read a book. It's called The Power of Now. I'm not sure who the author is, but in the book it talks about referring to like the past and the present, but it refers to the past and the present as things that don't exist. So at any given point in time, knowing that you were always in the present, that's all that matters. So when you're in the present, the past, it only exists if you think about it. And you ever think about it, like, the past only exists if you actually are remembering something. You have memory. And the future only exists when you think about it as well. So when you think about it, so also knowing, staying in the present will keep you grounded and will keep you in a more happy, content space. So that's just a little tip.
Thank you all so much for listening to us today. We hope that this podcast has inspired you to keep it positive.